Well guys, here we have it. This is the project I've been meaning to work on for a long time. This is my grandma's Vespa, and she's an older one. If you actually come back and look at the tabs on it, well, stamp tabs, 1974. So yeah, there's quite the story behind this, and I'm gonna include some of those clips right now for my grandma. So you go for trapped with this?
Yeah, because I used to go for trapped with the horse, Billy, and then when she got tired of waiting for me to set traps, she'd take off for home and I'd land up walking. I had the traps, a gunny sack over her, so then all my stuff went with her home.
Really? That was Mom's horse.
Yeah.
So what?
No, that was my Billy.
Oh, there's been two Billies?
Yeah, that Billy was a black Shetland. Ornery as could be. I was the only one that could ride it.
But anyways, the story, what happened with this was that it got crashed. It got laid down. Not by my grandma. My grandma actually really takes good care of her stuff. What happened was 1974, the Vietnam War just ended. Her brothers came home and some of their friends. They got on her Vespa, ripped it around, and laid her down. Her father got this from Trimble's in Austin, Minnesota. And fun fact, that business is still in business and it's the second oldest Honda dealer in the United States, but now we're getting off topic here. Anyways, it got laid down and it pretty much got parked up ever since. Lower mileage unit, so you could tell. But yeah, this was bought for her by her father. And yeah, it's just pretty much sad ever since, and I'm here to really bring her around, and I look forward to it. I never worked anything like this. I work on more, cars and heavy machinery, restoring my 504 at the moment. But yeah, so I'd be lying if I said I haven't worked on this thing a little bit. And by that I mean just trying to get that kickstand up and trying to remove this hood. I was able to get this little pin pulled back here, but I'm still struggling. Now I would like to drive home. This is no perfect Vespa. She's got rot. And that spine section there, which I assume is very common on these. This thing is not a peach by any means. Do I plan on restoring it? Well, maybe someday, but I plan on just running as a survivor for now. I think Grandma would really like to see her old Vespa going because she really loved this thing, and that'd make me happy. Now, against my better judgment, I did lean on this one day, and the engine did turn over, but with a lot of grime, so I don't want to continue turning it over and probably sending a bunch of rust right past those rings. And I did have a gander inside this gas tank, and I will say, the gas in it's even vintage too. It smells absolutely phenomenal. I was wearing my gas mask earlier and I could smell it through the gas mask. I'll take you guys in for a quick gander. Yeah, so that'll be fun. But we're just not going to worry about that right now, Positive thoughts, positive thoughts. So without further ado, let's try and pop this engine out. Oh, but first, we do have keys. So, it's pretty much good to go. No, it's not good to go. But we'll get her going. I guarantee you that. Well, guys, I'm not going to lie. After about an hour of trying to figure out how to take this hood off, I got it figured out. So there's a little pin you got to pull on the side here, and that should just slide right on off. But there's another pin down here, too, that was rusted into place, and I actually had to carefully lean it on its side and pry it out with a screwdriver. But now, yeah, thank goodness, we have something to work with. And we get to see more of that rot right here by where the shackle meets up. Oh, look at that air box. That is just, full of, I hope none of that stuff fell in the engine. Well, it looks like we got a project on our hands, but that's okay. I like that. And if you look at this cover here, you can actually see some hardware missing, so I don't think we'll be the first folks that's ever torn into this engine. So coming on down here, if I look right here, That's missing. And that could have just rattled out, but it could be a hint. This has maybe been apart a little bit. I wonder what size engine these are. For my brief research online, I believe these are 150cc single cylinders. I know by the end of the video here, I'll actually have a way better understanding and knowledge of these Vespas, because just naturally, when you start digging into something, you research it. But I am going into this right now completely blind. In fact, I never even have ridden a bike. I mean, I did have a little like Kyomko moped for a little while, but I've never even ridden a bike. So that's how virgin I am to this stuff. So I look forward to it. But I am no virgin to tearing engines down, as you can tell. So we'll get her figured on out, and I look forward to it. I'm actually going to wrap... I probably just made all y'all cringe. I'm going to wrap it up for tonight, but we'll get back to this later on here. And yeah, I'll see you guys next time. Alrighty, folks, it's the next day. This will be done over the course of a few days, so I apologize if the content seems a little bit misconstrued here. Fortunately, it looks like these flatheads aren't even seized, so that's pretty nice. I'll make taking this apart easier. I've never taken apart a Vespa before, so forgive me if I go a rather unconventional route, but we're just going to get there. One flathead screw at a time. Seems like the Italians really like their flatheads. Oh, get out of there, buddy. I had to be grateful and be thankful that nothing was seized, and sure enough, when I say that, something seized. I think I was accidentally tightening it for a bit, but that's okay. We're just rocking that screw in and out. That's what we'll tell ourselves. As you can tell, she still turns pretty good actually. But again, we don't want to suck much of this mouse junk in there. Next up, let's get some of this wiring out of the way so we can get a better look at that cylinder head. Oh, that is just completely rotted out. No way I'm saving that rubber plug. No siree. Oh, yeah, there we go. There's our spark plug. And yeah, what I'll do is I'll dump some Marvel Mystery Oil in there as soon as you get the rest of this mess cleaned up, and just let her soak. I did get a bore scope for this so we can actually look down in there and see the condition of the cylinder, but you know what happens when you buy a $5 eBay bore scope? Well, it turns on and then just shuts off and never turns on again, so we won't be able to see down the cylinder, sadly, but that's okay. Looks like there's a flathead right on top of here that we can use to extract this rigamaroo on off. I'm guessing this tells the engine where the cylinder's at, like the top dead center thing. I'm not sure, to be honest. I don't really work on Vespas. Interesting. Yeah, upon further analysis here, this might be something worth investigating later, so we'll just leave that as is for now. Well, I don't know how I feel about this. This is an 11mm bolt right here, and well, that gives me mixed opinions on this thing already, if there's 11mm hardware on these things, but I guess we'll keep trucking. Oh yeah, there we go. Get out of there. Sweet, and there's our cylinder head. And along with the cylinder head, you know, just a whole bunch of mice. You know, previous residency. So that's nice. But we do know our cylinder in there is moving, so that is nice. So yeah, I think next thing we do here is just vacuum all this junk up and then just keep her moving. Next up here, let's take this little air cleaner lid off just to get at more of the mouse damage. I think the vacuum actually got most of it, but once you get this area cleaned up, then you can kind of start the initiation process of seeing if this engine's ready to fire, because I think she'll bark right on over. It's just amazing that this thing sat for over 50 years at this point and isn't seized. I'm honestly really surprised. I can't, I guess, verify for sure if someone else has possibly worked on this between now and then, but it'd be a good question to ask my grandmother, but honestly I have my doubts. I think this thing pretty much just moved from barn to barn and that's it, because I don't know how anyone would drive it with the bent handlebars. I mean, maybe it was started between now and then, but I don't know. I think she's this is a great example of a survivor that's held on even in the humid Midwest summers, which I'm honestly really surprised by. I was expecting this thing to be locked up, and I will say it was locked up a little bit, but when I just leaned on that lever against my better judgment, she turned over right away. So, you know, I guess this little engine being locked up is a lot easier to unlock versus my International Harvester 1020 that has an engine displacement of 4.6 liters. This piston's a little bit smaller, but still, I was expecting her to be locked up tighter in Fort Knox, but she's actually pretty mint. Unlike this screw that doesn't want to come out. Is this a 9mm screw? Oh my goodness. Oh no, it's an 8. It was just tight. I was about to get some real bad vibes from this. I'm like, 9 mils and 11 mils. What am I working on, a Ford? There we go. Just pry up on that like so. Welcome to 2026, buddy. Did the mice eat through your air filter? No, I do not believe so. Very interesting though. That looks like to be a brass mesh air filter. That is something that I pretty much have never seen before, only in like fuel filters. Let's vacuum that garbage out. Now to pop off this air filter. Man, nothing is seized. Well, I shouldn't say that, but most things on this aren't seized. I'm just loving this. There is a little hole on top of the air filter here. Oh, but that's what one of the screws went through. Sweet. Okay, so yeah, definitely kept this engine pretty much clean as a whistle. I tried to vacuum this up to the best of my ability, but unfortunately my vacuum kind of sucks. I'm not intended. So might get like an acorn shell or two that falls in the cylinder, but I'm not that worried about it. Look at that air filter. A little beat up on the corner there, but I'm gonna go soak this in some kerosene and really clean it on up. But that is a unique design. You don't see stuff like that anymore. And she's OEM too, because it's got that. Oh, I wish. See, I'm working on this thing. I can't even pronounce it. The Paggio pizza, the pizza air filter. So that's pretty sweet. All right, now let's just see if this has any sort of compression. I feel a little bit of something on my thumb. It's not strong, but she's doing things. That's pretty sweet. All right. Now, before I tear into this engine anymore, let me aim you guys down a little bit more. I want to just do a couple verifications here. There's no point really wasting any more time or money on this thing if it has a rod knock or just something weird that's happened over time, or if there's a hole on the side of it. which I don't see why there would be, but you never know. So instead of wasting any more time taking it apart, what we're going to do is we're just going to throw some fluid in the cylinders. We're going to let her sit and soak, and then we'll figure out how to get this thing to bark on over, assuming the wiring isn't completely chewed up, and see if we can actually get it to fire and run a little bit. Because if it fires and runs a little bit, then we know it's actually worth our time to continue investing time into. Either way, I'll invest time into this thing, but I just want to hear it bark over before I tear it in a million other pieces. And another thing we could do before we invest any more time into it, let's see if it even has any spark. Don't want to push it over too hard, just because I don't want to potentially score up the cylinder. All right, I'm not seeing any spark. Try that again. So we might also have some spark issues. All right, before I completely destroy that cylinder wall, let's get some oil in there. So I got to thinking more on why this isn't seized up, and I think it's because it's a two-stroke. Naturally, that combustion chamber is just exposed to a more oily environment, and it'll leave a more residual mess on the walls, for lack of better words. And I think that is what saved this engine from potentially seizing up. Nice thing too is that spark plug isn't seized up, but that looks like an aluminum head, so I'm not trying to really rally it on off per se, but just easily ease it on off. It's definitely really stuck in there, just kind of concerning, but I wouldn't be super worried about it. Looks like the brand of this plug is a AT. Not seeing the whole size of it there. Oofda. All right. First glance here, it looks like we didn't absolutely destroy the threads, pulling it on out, so that's good. Now it looks like there's a little copper crush washer that goes underneath there. Guess back then they actually had to place it on there. It didn't just stay on the plug. All right, so our plug here is an old Autolite Transport. Never seen a plug like this before. And judging by the condition, looks like when this thing was parked, honestly, it was running really good. I don't see any like significant soot or oil on there. I think this is actually a pretty healthy running engine. I mean, this bike itself was pretty new when it was actually crashed. I mean, it's a 60s model and it was crashed in the 70s, but I think she was really well taken care of. Now let's just feel that for compression. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. There's a lot of good stuff going on in there. I'll see if I can shine a light in there and show you guys the condition of that cylinder. And wow, yeah, now that I got this popped off, I could smell really old gas and varnish. So that's telling us that that oily mess stayed around in there for a while. I apologize, folks. This is the best shot I can really get you. But as you can tell in there is definitely like kind of a brownish look. So like a surface rust. But again, if this was really crusty in there, I wouldn't be able to push this down with my thumb. So I definitely think I don't hear any crunching. I don't feel any resistance. This is a very happy engine. What I'm gonna end up doing here is I'm gonna set that engine down to top dead or bottom dead center and just fill up as much of that engine as possible with Marvel Mystery Oil. Now I know this is a two-stroke, so it's gonna be kind of complicated because you got ports and whatnot because there's no valves on it, but as long as we get enough sauce in there, I think she'll be good. Now to just get her to the bottom dead center, we'll just stick our screwdriver in here. All right, so that's bottom, that's top. Really long stroke on this, guys. And that's our bottom right there. Now all the Marvel Mystery Oil should leak right out the ports. Great. Now, it is inevitable that dirt daubers probably just plug the exhaust full. So this fluid actually might be able to just kind of sit inside the cylinders and the valve ports a little bit longer than it would for, if it was actually a clean engine. So that actually might work to our benefit that this thing has been sitting for a while in terms of getting her a little cleaned up here. Well, none of it's coming out of the exhaust, but I filled it up and I spun it around, and none of it also shot out the top. So yeah, that fluid's definitely going somewhere. I don't know where, but it's going places. But this is a lot easier to turn now. A lot easier to turn. Like, I don't even feel bad turning it anymore, so that's a real good sign. But we'll let that fluid sit and soak in there, and we'll pick up on this tomorrow. All right, it has been soaking in Marvel Mystery Oil for the past couple days here. Next up, we'll just try and pop this flywheel on off and see if we can get a better gander at the starter. Because, not the starter, the points, because I can guarantee you those points probably are a little kerfuffled. Oh, and I'm knocking her over. Alrighty. You go back down. Now I'm going into this with utmost caution because there's a possibility this might be a reverse thread flywheel. Okay, good, it's not. But it's always good to practice caution. Now it looks like this is coming right off without the need of a puller, so that's pretty sweet. But, alrighty, awesome, that's sweet. Well, that saved us a bunch of time. Alright, we'll just set you right there for now, buddy. It looks like this kickstand's really starting to loosen up. And here is our points right here. And wow, yeah, those points look crusty. I'll show y'all here. Yeah, let me just point out the issue right here. That is very, very crusty. I mean, like, that's like eye crust after, you just woke up from a cold crusty. So I think what we're gonna do here is give her a little bit of sanding down with some sandpaper. I guess the pads themselves don't look too bad, but I don't know. We'll crust that down a little bit. I wish I had a whole points and condenser set up. I have a million for like cars and tractors, but not for a Vespa. So I guess we'll just try to work with what we got here. And well, from my understanding, it random parked. It just got parked really hard, as you can tell, but yeah. Alrighty, I got my metal sandpaper right here. I'm just gonna run that through it a few times and hopefully it'll bring it right on around. Well, I walk outside because I hear my generator acting up, and I come back and she got laid down again, poor thing. But at least I can expect this better. I think this is supposed to come all the way out, but this kickstand, oh, you poor thing, does not like to come all the way out. It stops right there. So I don't know what the deal is with that. Ah, that sucks though. I hate for this poor thing to get any more beat up than it already has, but oh well. Let's grab our WD-40 right here and take advantage of this unfortunate situation and just really soak on up these pivoting joints here, because this is supposed to go all the way and it is not going all the way. And you can tell we never had any Marvel Mystery Oil come through the exhaust. I'm guessing it's just pooling up right in here. But we will see now. You gonna go all the way forward now? There we go. All right, sweetheart, I'll pick you up. I'm sorry you had to fall over. See, no rust. It's a rust-free rig. It's basically brand new. Now, after cleaning the points up some, I tried to turn it and I realized the points were not opening. And then I realized that the cam lobe that the points ride on right here is actually on the flywheel right here. So I need to get some cam lobe grease. I think any generic grease would work, but for now I think I'll just throw it back on. And then we'll actually turn this over and see if we can get some spark out of the old girl here. So I did look this up. I did look at the model number on the side, and I believe, if I remember correctly, it's like a VNB5M. And upon my research, this is 125cc flavor. So she's not the 150, unfortunately. It's not like I was going to go down the highway with it anyways or anything. Probably just go use it to go back and forth to the neighbors for parts runs. But so yeah, she's not the 150, but that's okay. I'm I'm not complaining. I'm just happy it's over 100 cc's. So yeah, 125 cc flavor. Put that flywheel back on, then we'll test to see if we got any spark. Because if this is actually works, that'll be sweet. Well, after cleaning off those points, yep, we got spark. I don't know if you guys can see that. So that is sweet. This thing has been sitting since 1974. So that is 26 plus 26, 40, 46, 52 years. And she just wants to come right back around. So I guess let's spray a little two-stroke gas down the app there and see if we can get her to bark off a little bit. Here's my concoction. Oh yeah, straight liquid. You want to make sure to hydro lock it. All right, I have no throttle control, so she's just gonna kind of do whatever she wants to do. Get this off the ground. Kinda. All right. Maybe use my thumb as a choke. Got good compression, but still don't got nothing chooching through her quite yet. Alrighty, try this again. I got some more two-stroke gas here and a little bit of ether. Against my better judgment, I think I'm just going to give her just a little spray of ether to kind of help blow the cobwebs out of her. There's some two-stroke fuel and just a spritz of ether. And the throttle is just wide open at the moment. Oh, I kicked the spark plug off. That won't help our case. Think we got something there. Yep. Welcome to the 21st century, buddy. I don't want to give her too much fuel because, like I said, she's wide open right now. See, the lights even came on. Welcome to the 21st century, buddy. Man, that's great. I revived the Coronet today, and I'll also be reviving this moped. Give her a little bit more fuel here. I'm gonna drop down the throttle some just because I don't want her, banging off the rev limiter when it's had a 54-ish year nap. The throttle is seized. The throttle cable is seized, so I am just messing with the slide here. But that's great news. Oh, that's awesome. All it needed was the points to just be brought back down a little bit. Just a little cleanup, and she is awakened from her slumber. shut. Couldn't spray enough fuel. Oh, that is awesome. All right, I need a funnel that I can easily just dump a little fuel into. See, it can't really pick up the fuel. There we go. Oof, da me. I didn't even see if the front light was working. Flooding her out. We don't got any horn. I think that's a high and low beam. All right, run her a little longer here, just off the bottle. Trying to do right now is just clean out the carburetor so I get to rev up. I cover the intake and then hopefully that'll suck all the junk through the jets. I mean, we can almost guarantee that this carb is probably clogged up, and I'm actually not that familiar with two-stroke carbs, but if we could somehow get this to run off of the gas in the tank, we'll add some gas, then that'll be a major victory for today. If I don't die from carbon monoxide poisoning, because it's getting smoky in here. 2 strokes. Oh, now need we remind ourselves how glorious the fuel is in this tank and how it's still hanging around after 54 years. Ain't that a miracle? Yeah, that's our fuel pickup, I think. And yeah, she's pretty plug solid. And I'm not sure how the fuel systems work on these, but judging by how this looks, I believe this is our fuel line right here. Yeah, looks like it gravity feeds through here. So it could be a gravity system. But my guess is maybe this might be a pump right here, and this might be like a diaphragm that goes up and down, up and down, up and down. And if that is even pulling any fuel, it's definitely not high quality fuel. You see, if this is like anything I'm used to working on, I just hook it up to another fuel tank. But the way this is looking, this is a lot more complicated than your typical. This is why I like working on cars and tractors. This is a lot more tighter. So by the looks of this here, if I disconnect this, pull that off, and maybe run a rubber hose up to here and just strap it to the back, we can gravity feed it that way, assuming this carb isn't all gummed up. And I might just end up taking this carb off and cleaning it anyways, but ain't no hurting, worth trying it. Ain't no hurt, I'm gonna try it. So guys, I think I'm gonna do a Hail Mary here. I dipped my fuel checking gauge, my screwdriver inside the fuel tank here to test the fuel level. And I saw, okay, there's about, that much fuel in there. Now, I don't know if this is a flat tank or if there's a dip, but as you can tell, that fuel is actually partially flammable. So what I ended up doing is I had dumped the rest of my bottle in there, and I just mixed up another batch. And we'll see if we can actually get this thing pulling from the tank and running. I doubt it. I doubt that pump on the carburetor is good, assuming that's a pump. And there is a slide here. Now, I'm not sure what the slide is. I'm guessing it's a fuel shutoff slide. I have that zip tied wide open down there, so we don't have to worry about it shutting off on us, assuming that's what it was. It was a little seized. But yeah, I think we can do a Hail Mary here, see if we can't get a little bit of gas in there and see if we can actually get this thing running on its own. Wouldn't that be crazy? Sitting over 50 years, this thing is like triple my age. Double my age. I don't know. What should I say? Yeah, double my age. And it's running. That's something. If I can get it running, that is. Where's my funnel? I lost my funnel. Oh, there's my funnel. So I mixed up 2 gallons of gas here. This is roughly a 30-to-1 mix. My 2 minutes of research online told me that guys tend to run a more liberal oil mixture, which makes sense on these older engines. For a little bit, I thought I was out of 2-stroke oil, but I actually do have some. I just have no use for it. Never had a use for 2-stroke oil till now. And actually, we'll be looking for fuel leaks here too. Now, one thing that is probably inevitable is we're probably going to clog the heck out of the fuel lines with rust and varnish. But if we can get this thing running on its own a little bit, that'll be awesome. Either way, I'm going to take it off and clean it in the future anyways, so there's no harm in dumping a little bit of extra fuel in there and seeing what happens. All right, that's about a full tank of gas. She was pretty much empty. Oh yeah, she's got some good stuff in there now. One more time. And who knows, maybe it was pulling fuel before. I just couldn't really tell and the fuel was too varnished, but now she's got some good stuff in her. I should have poured some seafoam in there too, but whatever. All right, let's see if we can get this Vespa to come back around. Well, folks, here we are a few days later, and I did jerry-rig a fuel tank onto this. I did make some adjustments to these screws. So I tried to rebuild the carburetor in my ultrasonic cleaner here, but unfortunately when I took it all apart, as you can tell, she got all busted up. So unfortunately I'm going to have to get a rebuild kit or just buy a new cheapo carburetor is what I'll probably do and just rebuild this one a later time. But I do have it hooked up to some fuel. I did put some fuel in the bowl, and I've been feeding it with a little bit of the spray bottle and whatnot. But now I turned these screws down and kind of just messing with them. Let's see if we can get her to run here. As you can tell, the fuel is overflowing out the top of the filter there, / fuel bowl when I open this up. As you can tell, so that is definitely something that needs to be addressed. So we do have a little bit of a fuel leak. But she is running, so that's good. So that means this carburetor is doing carburetor things. I tried to get the fuel tank to come around. I did put some compressed air on it. I just tried to blow back through the petcock, but it wasn't working. So my little temporary fuel tank setup here was working, but the carburetor is just, I don't even know why I put it on. I just wanted to hear it run on a fuel tank, but it's leaking too much. Fuel can't go where it needs to. So I will get back to you guys when I get a new carburetor for this and see if we can actually get this thing to stay and idle. And once we do, then we can start digging on other parts of this, like straightening out the steering and freeing up some of these other linkages. The choke linkage, unfortunately, did snap the little metal cable on the end there. So I'm going to have to see what I can do about that. You don't need a choke, it's fine. But here's a throttle right here. And as you can tell, she is not moving whatsoever. So that's another thing we'll have to address, but oh well, for now we'll just count our blessings. We're getting this thing running. It's running great. I do know the front brakes work because when I was squeezing on this thing just loves walking into the tractor TA. You can tell that at least that works. The clutch cable, that is really stiff. Yeah. Yeah, is going to need some attention too, but baby steps, baby steps. But we'll have this thing running and driving before we know it. Just needs a little bit more work. So I'll get back to you guys when I get a new carburetor on this. And yeah, we can soon get her running and driving. Hoping it doesn't snow between now and then. Well, 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 we are back, guys. And guess what came in the mail? Yup, brand new carburetor here for the VESPA VBN, whatever. Anyways, new carb for her. Let's see if we can actually get her running and idling today. And if so, I'm really hoping I can fix that steering quick and just put it down the yard at least. Really like to wrap this video up, and I think it'd be awesome if we can get it running and driving in this video. Everything else is optional. There'll be a day where I can open a box properly. I don't want to rip it. Yeah, screw it. Alrighty. Wow. A little bit of, dust on there. A little bit of, that new old stock, I guess. A little bit of that sun fade patina. That's how you know it was sitting on the shelf for a hot minute. Just a receipt. Do I got a sticker, though? Unforgivable, no sticker. Well, anyways, here's the carburetor. There's your part number in case anyone's watching this. Just a simple carburetor for this. It took a little bit of research because these older ones are just a little bit different than the newer carbs. Again, this is a 125cc engine. This carburetor does have a slight different design on it though, so I won't be able to use the factory air filter. Like the jets sit up higher on it or something. I don't know. Whatever. I'm not that concerned about it at the moment. And I could probably just make some modifications to the stock filter anyway, so it ain't really a big deal. It ain't no thing. There we go. If you don't have a Leatherman, get one. Best tool on the planet. And there she is. I really tried hard, guys, to get the old carburetor working just because I like all original and whatnot, and also saving as much money as possible, but sometimes you just gotta do what you gotta do. Like cutting these gaskets by hand, I tried doing that, and I am not a gasket cutting aficionado whatsoever, and it was miserable. But yeah, here is our carb. Let's get her on the Vespa. And actually, one more thing before we keep going here. I'm just gonna grease up this paper gasket a little bit. It really helps keep on them longer. Usually I use wheel bearing grease, but well, this was the, this is the closest grease I had sitting around, which is just some Siliglide, whatever, feels greasy, so it should work. But yeah, this really helps keep on gaskets and they don't tear, they don't go bad as easily. It really helps to put a liberal layer on these because they do soak it up. They're a little porous, but yeah, just a little trick I do to help keep on these paper gaskets. Drop in the comments below what you guys do to keep on these. I've had some people scold me for putting grease on paper gaskets before, but hey, it works for me and I'm going to keep doing it. Oh, and I did a little bit more research. This guy right here is kind of like where your wiring hookup is. So, that's like the blinkers, the horn, taillights and such. Oh, and I forgot. I pulled the studs by accident with the bolts that hold the carburetor down. But it looks like we got a little stud right here. That'll kind of help hold that into place. So just got to be careful when we're putting the carburetor on. Drop in the comments below what your favorite flavor of LaCroix is. Mine's lemon. This is like lemon cello, but the wife likes it, so got to make do. I want to compare these side by side. Old carb next to new carb. It's the right thing to do. So what I was implying is that, and you can already tell, is that the jets here, do sit differently. So here's the original carb. The jets sit below the venturi right here, versus here it's actually proud of the venturi, as you can tell. And that's the main difference, and that's why you can't use the air filter without modification on these. But again, I'm not that worried. I will need to modify this too and turn it up. This is facing the right direction for the OEM fuel tank, but obviously we're not using that. We are using the motorized bike tank that I like to use for my projects, so there's that. And yeah, these linkages, for obvious reasons, oh, they feel so much nicer to move. So much nicer versus this one. Just gummed up and stuck, but you know, can't blame it for a 52-year-old carburetor, you know. Oh, I'm excited. Let's get this on. And as for pre-settings, I don't know what to set the idle here and the air jet or whatever. So yeah, just kind of going into this herpa-derping around. Alrighty. Again, there's that stud that came out with it, but whatever. Sneak you in here like such. Oh yeah, 11 mil, because Italian. Ooh. Okay. Viva la Italia, fettuccine pizza pasta. You can tell my Italian is very fluent. Fuel line out of the way. Here's our air needle, I believe that's what that is. I don't know what to set it at, so I'm just going to twist it all the way down and then back it off one turn. I feel like that's a good base standard, I suppose, to go off of. The other carburetor liked it with it all the way turned in, which I assume isn't right. All right. There's one turn out. Now let's take our auxiliary fuel tank here and just kind of slide her on. It's kind of a pain to do without punching the frame. Now we'll open this up and we'll let her bottle feed in there a little bit. See if we have any leaks. So far I don't see any leaks, so that's a good sign. I think we should give this thing a good test start. Alrighty. Now I don't have anything else really hooked up on her. What am I kidding? That key ignition doesn't do anything. So choke obviously isn't hooked up. The idle is just kind of shut, but let's just see if she'll bark off here. Honestly, kind of saw that coming. Don't have the choke really hooked up. Spray a little fuel down her throat, help her out a little bit. Now she's definitely bound to bark off, but will she stay running? Carburetor's carbureting! That's awesome. Sweet. Well, yeah, touching that needle though, that air corrector or whatever, same thing. Just killed it. So I don't know. We'll figure it out as we go here. like a champ in 52 years. Oh, that's sweet. Just gonna let her run for a bit and just chew. She's ran, but she's never ran this long. The fuel tank's almost empty, so I kind of got to hold it like that, but now she's just running on the bowl. She likes it. Fortunately, we lost lights, but that could be with something around here. Could be a background or something. I'm not that worried about it at the moment. But you can tell, I mean, this does nothing at all. But one thing at a time. I'm really tempted to try and turn it and put it in gear, but oh! There we are, we got lights right there. Is that connected to the brake? Huh. Alright, sweetheart, you just stop rambling there. Sweet! Keep playing with this a little bit. Okay, so that turns the light on. Maybe we just killed, and by we I mean myself, the front bulb. If we can get the horn to work, this will be a major W. I'm assuming that's the horn button. I don't know, I never driven a Vespa. Oh, that's sweet though. Welcome to the 21st century, buddy. Yeah, it's locked up tighter in Fort Knox. Oh, sweet though. She just purrs like a kitten. Let's see if she'll let me adjust this at all. Alright. Yeah, turning it down definitely picks up the idle. In fact, turn down all the way, she's really picking up. I'm gonna back that off a little bit. Let's try adjusting that other needle. Oh, it scared me. Yeah, it doesn't really make a difference. Maybe a little bit. Yeah, we'll just turn that all the way in and then one turn out. Oh, that's great. I'm just gonna let her run here for a bit, let her chew on everything, spit all the old junk out, and then after that, I'm gonna try and work on this a little bit more and see if we can fix this steering. Because if we could fix this steering and get it lined up, because as you can tell, she's a little kitty wampus. Oh, look at that! Just must be some corrosion in the switch. Hello, buddy. That is a huge bulb in there. Wow. My gosh. Oh, there's two bulbs. So one must be like a high beam, and I don't know. I'm gonna shut up. That's awesome. So yeah, what I'm gonna try and do here is fix the steering so she's a little bit more straight, not kitty wampus. Maybe get the clutch to come back around, and then after that, toot her on outside. It only rained a bunch, so I'll probably get mud on everything, but you know, that's just the way she goes. Awesome. Oh, I'm excited. Welcome to the 21st century, buddy. that must be like a grounds out the spark plug. But hey, I figured out how to shut it off. Sweet. And then these are like high beams and whatnot. But I digress. Will she start right back on up? Oh, yes, she will. All right, enough of me playing with it. Let's actually fix this. Well, got the bolt punched out, and it's just as easy as... So yeah, I'm just gonna kind of eye that up. Call that good. Put this guy back on in, and I was also playing with the clutch here. She came loose. I think we're gonna drive this thing today. All right, got the steering pretty much figured out. Next up, let's see if it has a working clutch in here and some gears. Well, that's awesome. Now I gotta figure out how to put it in neutral, because, like I said, I don't know how bikes work. She in neutral? Nope, that's in gear. If I pull the clutch, will it go in neutral? Okay, that's fine. You don't need a working clutch. You just go. I can respect that. All right. Okay, so clutch may or may not work. That's okay though. We don't need to stop. You know, if this was French, it would have a reverse gear, but it doesn't. All right, I'll stop making European jokes. I'm sorry to my European viewers. All right. There we are, that's neutral. And now the clutch works. I don't know what's going on. Whatever. It works. Let's go drive this thing after I air the tires up. Well, it does have Michelin, so those are French tires. You know what's crazy? This is a metal valve stem with a metal cap, and it's not even corroded on there. That is wild. Any of you guys worked in the tire business, you know exactly what I'm talking about. All right, tires are aired up, 26 PSI in both. Let's go crash a family heirloom again after 52 years of sitting. This guy maybe? I think I found this one on the side of the road. That's how you know it's good. Oh yeah. Racing cell right here. Go Baja through Africa with this. Oh yeah, certified. This will pass tech. Some 32-to-1 mix in there. I think this is mixed gas. It's an amount. It looks kind of like a kiwi Kool-Aid flavored, so yeah, we're good. the things I do for YouTube. Yeah, that clutch is not easy to operate. It just pops. I'll see if I can get a video of me riding her down here, but I think I'm gonna have to set the phone on the ground and then pick it up as I'm driving. Otherwise it just pop. We almost laid her down again for the second time in 52 years. Yeah, I drive around the yard, but fortunately it's too muddy. Yeah, I think the speedo even works. I wish I can get her up to speed, but man, I have no throttle controls and this thing dies pretty easily. So, get her turned here. Could try and sneak second in. I don't want to do that while I'm driving. But yeah, little Vespa rides again. Awesome. I wish I can give you guys a better shot of this thing going, but well, here she is. 52 years and she's, well, going through my lawn. Yeah, I got to almost crash there. Man, it is muddy. Going to neutral. Sweet. Well, I might as well go say hi to the neighbors. I think the cops will get mad at me driving this on the road. It is a motorcycle. We're riding dirty today. Literally, this gravel is disgusting. I put her in third, but then she'd sputter out. I mean, these tires are only 52 years old. I mean, they're fine. I'll just keep her going. Oh yeah. Not flooding too much. The ground's still frozen and we got a bunch of rain. So it's not really draining properly and there's just moisture everywhere. It sucks, but you know, that's what you get for living on planet Earth, I guess. I feel like such a man right now. Come on, buddy, you can make it. Oh yeah, we're only smoking a little bit. Nah, it's bad, especially when she's wide open. I think we're gonna crack 4,000 miles right on this drive here. Wouldn't that be something? Oh, no hands. Oh, yeah, that's fine. Everything's good. Huh. Oh, smoke cleared up a little bit. That's good. That, or maybe the gas I dumped in it just really was pure gasoline, and now we're just running on pure gas and destroying our cylinder walls. But that's okay. 2 strokes like that. Look at that, 4,000 miles. Or is this in kilometers? No, it's in miles. Odometer works. Ain't that something? Only sat for 52 years, ain't no thing. Wow, that's an awesome way to wrap up a YouTube video, folks. You know, I think I've seen these outfitted with like bazookas. I think I should put a bazooka on this or a Panzerfaust. That'd be a very nice touch. Maybe a side cart for the wife, for the MG42. Oh, I want to rip on her, but I can't. Because, you know, no throttle. That kickstand works like a dream now. Only smokes a little bit. That's how you know there's oil in it. Even the mama's got a kick out of it. You think my sister's chicken would fit in the side box and stay in there? Come here, Putty. Come here, Putty. guys, thank you for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, please drop a like. Please comment down below. Let me know if you want to see more of the Vespa. Please hit that subscribe button for more vintage content with vintage tractors, cars, trucks, maybe some boosted Honda content. Got that going. That's pretty fun, I'm not going to lie. But anyways, got the Vespa going. First time in 54 years, 52. And just hit 4,000 miles on it. Just breaking it in. Man, this is what I love doing. I'm working on old stuff. And for you guys that are still watching, wondering about the tractor content, the 504 is getting worked on right now. It's just, had to take a break. The weather's so beautiful. I gotta come outside before it starts snowing and it gets below freezing temps again. But yeah, thank you guys for watching the channel. Please come back again. We'll have more awesome content for you guys. Have a good one. Now let's see how long it takes for me to start this. Right in gear. Damn. I'd like to drive away dramatically. That's in gear. For Pete's sake. I'm just going to edit this part out.